rushing yards, and he is showing why right now, hitting all the right holes.
And the kick is up and good to make it 14-7 Storm over the Irish. And let's take another look at that Frober touchdown run, a 14-yard variety.
There it is. Frober shrugs off a tackle in the backfield, breaks a tackle at the 10-yard line, breaks 2 tackles on his way, spinning into the end zone to cap off a nice 14-yard touchdown run right there. Nice play by the Skyview Storm.
So we have the makings of a good one with 4:46 here in the second quarter, and a 14-7 game as Skyview gets on the board once again with a run. Of course, they started the scoring with a 5-yard touchdown run by Angelo Sarchi. That was then answered in the second quarter by a 32-yard Hunter Franco touchdown run. And now Skyview with the Hayden Frober 14-yard touchdown run makes it a 14-7 game.
And it'll be interesting to see as or if O'Day falls behind any more than this because they so heavily rely on the run, whether they will start to air it out a little bit more.
Of course, Skyview looking to bounce back after going up to Sammamish last week and losing to Eastside Catholic 31-16. And the kickoff here, a squibber that is taken by one of the up men, but that is number 9, and that is Mark Tafia, and he is into Skyview territory and inside the 45-yard line at the 44.
And usually the reason you squib kicks is to prevent the big return, but there, number 9, Mark Tafia breaking 4 tackles on his way to a 30-yard kickoff return. Pretty impressive there for an up man.
And not what you wanted to see if you're Steve Kaiser after putting a touchdown on the board with 4.5 left in the second quarter.
We do have a flag on the field, though. Sorry to interrupt you there,
No,
Tom.
that's fine. Early indication is that it's against Skyview, and indeed it is a personal foul. Oh.
No indication of what for?
Personal foul was the signal by the official, and that will tack on 15 to an already great return, and that's going to move the ball to the 20-yard line of Skyview. So O'Day, with 4:36, has a golden opportunity here, Leonard, to tie up this game before the half.
Yeah, absolutely. Skyview helping O'Day out a lot, giving up the big return, and then with the 15-yard penalty.
So Warren King now under center, split backs, takes the handoff, and on a counter, there is Tafia again, and Tafia breaks free, and Tafia has a touchdown. Just like that, 20 yards for O'Day.
And before the game, Monty Kohler told me to watch for Tony Flora, offensive lineman, captain. He was going to be a key player in this game. He was the pulling guard on that play. Absolutely gets out there in front of his running back, blows up the second level of the Skyview defense, then blows up the safety en route to that 20-yard touchdown run.
Mark Tafia did it all on that drive. He took the kickoff return inside the 45, and then the penalty put him at the 20, and he took that for a touchdown.
And if you're Steve Kaiser right now, that was the last thing you wanted to see after scoring a touchdown.
And here is the kick, and it is up by Stephen Powell, and it is good. And let's take another look at Tafia's touchdown.
Let's watch right here. Number 68 comes through the hole first, gets out there, blocks the safety, gives Tafia a hole to run through. Tafia makes a nice cutback. Number 17, Jason Wong out there blocking his man as well from the receiver spot. Great all-around blocking there on that play. Leads to the big touchdown run.
So less than 20 seconds comes off the game clock after that touchdown by Skyview. And O'Day has now tied it at 14 with 4:29 to go, second quarter. What a turn of events there.
Yeah, and I guess that answers my question on whether O'Day would want to start passing the ball. Why would you pass it when you could only need one play to score?
Well, we talked about their stable of running backs coming into this behind Hunter Franco and Parker Deanna and Connor Gregor. Those three have accounted for 6 touchdowns in their first 2 games. And then we saw Tafia go for another there.
And Franco picked up one earlier this game too. So 8 rushing touchdowns in the past 2 games now for O'Day. And it shows that they're going to be a formidable foe tonight for the Storm.
So the shadows now completely covering the field. Just a little bit of sunlight on the trees across from the main grandstand here at Kiggins Bowl. As the temperature still very comfortable, high 70s.
You would think we're in Los Angeles.
And Powell will line it up and kick it off. And this is going to be taken at the 4-yard line and returned upfield by Aaron Wise, but he is spun around and then dropped. And Wise had nowhere to go, taken down at just inside the 12-yard line.
And Ken Wiggins, the special teams coordinator for the Skyview Storm, will not be too happy with that. His blockers did little to nothing for Wise on that return.
Similar to what we saw on the last kickoff, where the Skyview kick returner hasn't had much of a chance to do much with the football.
Yeah, both times the ball's been kicked to Wise now, and both times he's been bottled up inside a 5-yard return. On that one, I believe he may have lost yards.
So momentum now swinging towards O'Day as Barnum takes the snap and hands it off to Frober, and he is met for a minimal gain, maybe a half yard on that play up the middle.
Number 66, Doug Russell, another captain on the line on defense.
And you can see the stout front here of O'Day.
Right here, you can see Russell shrug off his blocker, grab an arm, get a handful of Frober, and be able to bring him down all by himself.
Tony Fiore in on that one as well. Now Barnum, single back set to his left. Play fake and is flushed a little, fires downfield, intended for Pinckney, and that is tipped away.
Number 21, Shea Karstens on the pass defense there, on the pass breakup. Looked like he was going to go a little bit early. Good control there to rein himself back, make sure to make a play on the ball rather than the receiver.
Karstens with a nice play. That brings up 3rd and 9 for Skyview, and they are backed up deep in their own territory, sitting at their 9-yard line.
Barnum's been heavily pressured all game. Be interesting to see here on a pretty obvious passing down what the O'Day defense will do.
So trips left for Barnum. Now he goes up to the line. Audibles, and now Frober moves to his left, and a slant thrown to Pinckney. And if that is a live ball, that is going to be O'Day football. And it is. They rule it a catch and a fumble as Pinckney appeared to have it, but hard to tell how long he actually had control of it or if he had full control.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is not the NFL, so
we are going to look at a replay, and let's see if we can determine. There is nothing definitive there. It appears to the naked eye that he did catch it and then started to make a move, but then was stripped by the defender.
From that angle, you can't really tell. Looked like the ball almost came into his body, seems like it almost hit off of him and came out, and he was barely able to corral it before it came out. The NFL, that's probably not a catch.
We have about probably 7 different angles of it, too, to be able to tell. And on this one, we have one, and he was facing away from us. But nonetheless, it is O'Day football at the 12-yard line, and King with a pitch left to Patu, and Patu has lots of room, and he goes in for the touchdown. 12-yard score for Patu.
Isaac Bond, defensive line coach for the Storm, furious right now, took off his headset and slammed it into the ground, taking off his visor now. The defensive line for the Storm is getting absolutely bullied. Credit to the offensive linemen of O'Day being able to push off their blocks. The pulling guards and pulling tackles have been outstanding in filling the holes.
So let's take a look at Patu's touchdown run. This one of the 12-yard variety on the pitch left.
We get the wide receiver, number 3, J.P. Morardi, all the way upfield, taking his man. Great blocking so far for O'Day.
And in about a minute and 20 seconds of game time, the O'Day Irish have scored 14 points, about to score 14 points here, pending the extra kick, and have taken control of this football game. The kick is up and good. Make it 21-14 O'Day now with 3:20 to go, second quarter. And when you talk about momentum shifts, certainly that's what we saw just now.
Yeah, absolutely. Skyview goes down and scores, and then big return, penalty, touchdown, fumble, touchdown. That'll shift the game real quick. Just not even 5 plays for the O'Day Irish to put it into the end zone twice. A little bit scary here for the Storm. So there's 3:20 left in the third quarter, and the Storm will get the ball back, so we can see what they will do with it on this offensive possession.
So penalties and turnovers will kill you, and that's what Skyview is dealing with right now. As you mentioned, the big penalty on the touchdown run that made it 14-all by Mark Tafia, and then the turnover on the catch and fumble by Tavis Pinckney, which then led to a one-play drive again, a 12-yard touchdown run by Jamin Patu. And we have a 21-14 O'Day lead with 3:20 left.
O'Day looks outstanding on both sides of the ball right now, so it'll be interesting to see if they can keep this up. This kick is squibbed this time.
And that is taken at the 17-yard line and returned out to the 29-yard line.
Aaron Wise there again on the return.
Yes, Wise.
And a little bit better blocking that time. However, there were still 4 O'Day shirts waiting for him when he came around the corner.
So with 3:14 left, the Storm will try to salvage something out of this, what has been a disastrous late second quarter here.
The second quarter has turned around on them very quickly, but a touchdown here before the end of the half could tie things all back up again.
So again, trips left for Skyview, one wide receiver right, and Frober to his right in the backfield for Barnum.
If Barnum would have hiked the ball, Wyatt Stallman wide open, no corner or safety on that side of the field.
Did not see it, could not get the play called in time, and this is going to be a screen, and he has to dump it. Gets rid of the football, does Barnum, but he was under heavy pressure, in danger of being sacked.
Yeah, O'Day, reason he was under such heavy pressure, Skyview called a screen, O'Day sniffed it out, and Barnum realized that that play was going nowhere quickly. Just had to get it out to avoid the sack.
Fortunate to get rid of it there. Now with 3:10 to go in the second quarter, just before the half, and Skyview trying to get something on the board here before the half, as they have now fallen behind by 7 thanks to 14 straight points by the Irish.
And Skyview really missing their star wide receiver, Travis Yaiko, right now. Could really use him to bolster this passing game.
Snap to Barnum in the shotgun, and that is fired out to the right and caught complete for a gain of about 5.
Derek Nelson on the catch there for the Storm. And Skyview not taking advantage of this relaxed coverage that the Irish are playing.
So 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right, and Frober in the backfield, and movement. And that was Nelson out wide right, jumped before the ball was snapped.
And he's going to be taken off for it. Definitely looked like he was going on a fly there. A little bit too anxious to get his number called.
And just really no excuse for that at the wideout position.
Yeah, absolutely. His wide receiver also, like D-line, taught to watch the ball. Because that far out, you're not going to be able to hear much. Especially as you get upper in the divisions and it gets louder and louder in the stadiums.
So Barnum in the shotgun, fakes the handoff to Frober, keeps it, goes up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles, and is out over the 40 to the 41-yard line, and a first down for Skyview. Big play there, and they needed it.
Yeah, Barnum, another read option this time, finally decides to take the keeper option. And you know, you normally don't like your quarterback getting hit. Barnum welcomes being hit. He will put a shoulder down, he'll put an arm out, and he's trying to run somebody over on his way to the end zone.
He does welcome the contact, it seems, and he is ready for more. 1st and 10 at the 41. Clock moving at 2:25 and counting. 2 receivers left and 1 right, and Barnum takes the snap, looks left, and fires downfield. That is intercepted, picked off, and down at the 40-yard line of O'Day. That is Dominique Gates with the interception and a nice break on the football.
Yes, an absolutely nice play there from the safety, Dominique Gates. And that one is definitely got to be chalked up. Trying to go to the same play 3 times in a row.
Gates with the interception, and we see right here, made a nice break on the football, came underneath the receiver Pinckney to get it.
Yeah, Barnum underthrew that one a little bit, and the deep safety was able to move up from his spot. He had Pinckney deep, but he didn't put enough air on that ball.
So now, all of a sudden, you get the feeling that O'Day is going to come out and step on the gas again here.
Yeah, O'Day is definitely going to be looking to punch it in. Remember, O'Day does have all 3 of their timeouts. Skyview mismanaged theirs. Only 1 left here as time winds down in the first half.
And now it appears that O'Day will use one of those timeouts.
An interesting decision here, especially so close to the end of the game when your offense is predicated on running the ball. You want those timeouts to stop the clock.
So Monty Kohler elects to use a timeout, and with 2:15 to go, it is O'Day with a 7-point lead at 21-14, and a flurry of activity here late second quarter. Touchdowns off of penalties and turnovers, and another turnover here, an interception. Could it lead to another score?
And both teams came out pretty flat in the first quarter. A lot of penalties, but so far O'Day has looked like the much better team here in the second quarter, really finding their stride. Skyview still has some kinks to work out defensively and offensively, but right now O'Day is rolling, and if Skyview doesn't pick it up soon, they might be ran over.
The interception by Gates now has O'Day in business at their own 39-yard line and an I formation. And the handoff goes to Patu, who already has 1 touchdown, breaks it left, and he has room to run. And he is running free and brought down in Skyview territory at the 30-yard line. That is a gain of 31 yards.
31-yard rush there. And number 43, Thomas Stowers, 30 yards upfield blocking the corner. Let's see it here on the replay.
And a nice run by Patu. And it is now 1st and 10 at the 30. And King hands off up the middle, and that is stopped for a gain of about 2.
And here we go. We're going to get a replay of that run going way outside. And notice how there is no one on that left side of the field because number 43 right there blocking his man all the way up to the 30-yard line.
And Jamin Patu putting together a big night. This is King dropping back and firing over the middle. That is hauled in, complete, down to the 10-yard line. An 18-yard gain on the play.
Number 32, Sam Sanchez catching the pass there from the tight end spot, and the first pass for the Fighting Irish. Going to see another replay here of that big run that got the Fighting Irish down this far.
So now 1st and 10 at the 10, and O'Day cannot get a first down. They can only score a touchdown. This is a pitch left and a cut back and score for number 20, Connor Gregor, as he goes in for the touchdown, make it 27-14 Irish.
Connor Gregor adds another touchdown. He had the 52-yard one last week, and there he has the 10-yard touchdown run. A nice move there on the toss to cut back. No Storm defenders left, all over pursued to the pitch.
Let's take another look at the run by Gregor.
There we go. We see the force defender get outside and force the cutback. However, no one is there for the cutback, and O'Day is blocking tonight.
And a nice hesitation move by Gregor and patience to wait for the hole to open up.
Absolutely.
The extra point is good, bangs off the scoreboard at Kiggins Bowl, make it 28-14 now. O'Day with 1:17 left in the first half.
And Tom, this O'Day blocking tonight, fantastic. Absolutely unbelievable. The offensive line, the fullbacks, the wide receivers, all pushing their man. 10, 15, 20, and even on that run we saw from Patu, even 30 yards upfield.
And we saw evidence of it right there as that hole opened up late, and Gregor, with the nice patience, was able to hesitate, and then once he saw it open, just cut it right up and in for the score, 10 yards.
Skyview's going to need to do some real soul searching here on defense if they're going to find a way to stop this run.
It is almost crazy to think that at the 4:45 mark, Skyview was in control of this football game, up 14-7.
And that's just how fast football can change. Momentum, one play, as you saw, the kick return swung momentum quickly. The penalty swings it even more, the touchdown run, and then the turnover, and it's all downhill from there for the Storm since then.
So a 3-touchdown flurry here in the span of 3 minutes and 25 seconds for the O'Day Irish have put them in the lead at 28-14.
And usually when you hear about scoring that fast, you're thinking long passes downfield. O'Day is doing it purely on the strength of their running game.
And partly fueled by turnovers and penalties. And this ball is bounced off of one of the up men for Skyview and then covered at the 40-yard line. So good field position for the Storm as they try to get something positive going into the locker room.
The Storm desperately need some points here, at least a solid drive to make sure that they don't go into this halftime a little bit dejected, I guess would be the word.
Certainly looking for some positive mojo heading into the halftime locker room to come out in the third quarter and attempt to chip into this lead. Now a 14-point lead by the O'Day Irish.
And a touchdown here would do wonders for them.
And Barnum takes the snap and fires. That is complete out to the far side and knocked out of bounds. Hayden Frober, and a gain of 8, make it 2nd and 2.
Good job there by Frober to get out of bounds, realize the situation. Not much time left on the clock, need to stop the clock.
The Dallas Cowboys wide receiver could have used that play on Sunday as the Cowboys lost their opener to the Giants. Barnum on a screen inside to Pinckney, makes the catch, and then turns it and is good for a first down, a gain of 4, and into Irish territory, but the clock will momentarily stop while they move the chains in the middle of the field.
One thing about Skyview football, or not Skyview football, high school and college football, clock does stop when you get a first down, which gives the team a little bit more extra time.
And they wind it now with 1:02. Barnum takes the snap, looks left, and fires, and that is Pinckney who makes a move, but then is going to be brought down at the 42-yard line and clock moving. And one timeout left for Skyview.
Pinckney had sideline there, but he decided to try to turn it upfield. Not what you want to try to do right there.
And Barnum calling the play quickly at the line, and now gets the snap and fakes the handoff to Frober again. Intended for the receiver, number 4, Wyatt Stallman, incomplete, and the clock stops with 35 on 3rd and 4.
And while the clock did stop, this is one of those times where you look back to what happened throughout the first half. Did Skyview really need to burn those 2 timeouts earlier? Could really use them right now.
So 3rd and 4, and Barnum now with a little time to set up. 2 receivers right, 1 left, and Frober in the backfield. The handoff to Frober, breaks it and gets a first down to the 37-yard line of O'Day, and a timeout is called there with 29 seconds left. I should say no. They stop the clock and the chains move, and we're going to run. So now clock running with 27. Snap goes to Barnum. He fires deep down the right-hand side, and that is incomplete.
Intended for number 10, Carter Hill there. Barnum had a little bit of a window there. Maybe tried to force that pass, try to see if he could get it in there with 30 seconds left, take a shot downfield. And at this territory on the field in high school football, it's definitely 4-down territory for the Storm right now.
20 seconds left in the first half, so certainly this will be 4-down territory on 2nd and 10. Barnum with 2 receivers right. Now a pitch out to Frober, who gets out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Now with 15 seconds left, make it 3rd and 5, and time running out for Skyview here in the first half.
Yeah, Skyview trying to work their way. Not entirely sure what their field goal range for their kicker this year is. He seems to have a pretty solid leg. He was making them from about the 25-yard line in warm-ups. So maybe shooting for that 25, 27-yard line to get some points on the board before halftime.
Barnum in the shotgun, takes the snap and hands it off to Frober. This is up the middle, and with 10 seconds left, clock stops at 8.
I believe timeout has been used. Timeout was used by the Storm.
Yeah, Storm called their final timeout with 8 seconds left.
And so now the question is, do you go for the end zone here, or does your kicker have the leg? And from the looks of it, looks as though the offense is going to stay on the field.
That to me right now is what makes the most sense. You have a couple of options. You can go deep, and you might run out the clock. Or if you decide to go short on an out, you can wind up with a couple of seconds left and then run one more play.
Yeah, it either has to be, you have to have an incompletion here, or a quick hitting out route, sideline play. Otherwise, that time, 8 seconds goes by very fast. The average play in the NFL, 6 seconds. High school football can take a little bit longer.
So 2 receivers right, 1 left for Brody Barnum and the Skyview offense, with Frober in the backfield.
And now O'Day will take a timeout.
We got to get Parker to deepen and man him up with a linebacker or Coughlin or something.
And indeed, the Irish take one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
Irish came out in a high. They had a deep safety, one deep safety, and then one safety rocked up more towards the side. They had 2 corners on each side, and a safety rocked up on the side with only 1 receiver, which is kind of interesting. Maybe why they decided to turn that timeout there.
If you're just joining us, it's 28-14 O'Day here with 8 seconds left in the second quarter. So headed to halftime, it looks like the Irish will have a 14-point lead. The Skyview Storm started the scoring in this game with a 5-yard touchdown run by Angelo Sarchi to make it 7-0. O'Day then answered with a 32-yard touchdown run by Hunter Franco. Hayden Frober responded with a 14-yard TD run for Skyview in the second quarter to make it 14-7. And then since then, it has been all O'Day with 14 straight points to take a 28-14 lead. The snap to Barnum on what looks to be the final play of the first half. That is deep and caught by Pinckney. And does he get out of bounds?
He's out of.
Well,
it's a first down. The clock's going to stop on the first down.
So with 2 seconds left, it appears that he got out of bounds, though. So that should mean that they will have the clock until they snap the ball. So
and the field goal unit is coming on. What a play there! That was Skylar Martin was short, had the short out route there.
So now the 22-yard field goal on the last play of the first half is good. Wyatt Stallman with the field goal, and
clock was never started.
We should have no time left after that play. And that will bring the first half to a close.
And a great catch there by Pinky to end the half.
So Wyatt Stallman caps off the scoring in the first half with a 22-yard field goal. So we go to halftime. The score here from Kiggins Bowl: the O'Day Fighting Irish 28 and the Skyview Storm 17. Let's now send it to the studio and a halftime with Nick Voll.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Hello and welcome to the VPS Game Time Halftime Show. I am Nick Voll. I'm coming to you live from the VPS TV studio here in the Jim Parsley Center. We have a lot of good stuff coming your way this halftime, including a chat with teacher Nate Macon about Skyview's Science, Math, and Technology program, how it's helping kids prepare for careers. Plus, did you know that Vancouver Public Schools is considering a bond measure for the February ballot? Learn more about how the possible bond measure would affect your local schools. And we'll hear from Coach at Skyview, Steve Kaiser, along with some of his players, on how their season is going so far and what they hope to achieve this year. We do have some highlights coming up for you, of course, from the first half as well. And we are streaming tonight on YouTube. We are streaming on Facebook, and we're on cable. So we are everywhere tonight. Behind the scenes at VPS Game Time, we have student crew members, so in front of and behind the cameras, just like on the field here with our highlights. So a good start here for Skyview. We're recovering that fumble. Number 68 with the big fumble recovery there. And then Tavis Pinkney on the reception. Beautiful rainbow pass by Brody Barnum. Takes it down to the 5-yard line. And then punching in right here from around 8 yards or so. But then things turn a little bit. O'Day starts to find its footing. You can see right here, number 25, Hunter Prego, eluding the defenders, rumbling into the end zone, scoring that big touchdown, tie things up at 7-7. Here's Mark Tafia. He ties it at 14-14 after another Skyview touchdown. And that's when the momentum really started rolling back O'Day's way. Here Barnum completes the pass. The fumble by Pinkney recovered eventually here. There you go, by O'Day. And then it's a scoring onslaught here by O'Day. This is Jamin Patu, number 5 there on the tough run, takes the hit, plunges into the goal line. That makes the score 21-14. O'Day. Skyview unable to score on its next possession. Here comes Jack Anderson with the long touchdown run. 28-14 right there with that score. He's pretty pumped. Look at that. Skyview comes down. This is that long reception, a 4th and 1 play. Great concentration to make that play, knowing the hit's coming. Gets down, and then Skyview with the field goal, the last second run on the field goal to draw it to 28-17 at the half. And of course, we got a great half of football coming up for you after this. Well, did you know Vancouver Public Schools is considering a bond measure for the February ballot that would rebuild 8 or 9 schools and modernize the rest? The replacement schools are all more than 50 years old and are showing major signs of wear. The last time the district passed a bond was 15 years ago, and planning for what future schools might look like has already begun at community symposiums. The school board has to approve the bond measure this fall, and if they do, it must pass with a 60% majority. And coming up between this game and the next one we're doing tonight, we'll go in depth on what a bond would mean for your neighborhood schools, so make sure you stay tuned for that. School is back in session, and of course our district communications team is also back hard at work. Joining me now to talk about it is Tara Cox from the communications department. Hey Tara, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And so one of the big projects I know for you guys this year is school district websites. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, we've actually been here all summer long working, and the elementary school websites are finally complete, and they're awesome. We're excited to let parents know that there's easier navigation, there's school news and calendar information, teacher directories, which makes it a little bit easier to contact your teachers via email, and of course the sites are all device friendly, so it's easier to view them on either an iPad or your mobile phone. So we're now starting to work on middle school sites, and we started that with a focus group that we held over the summer. We asked some parents and some staff for some ideas, and they told us some of the features and ideas that they were looking for to help us get started. And the middle school sites are going to feature upcoming calendar and events, news, and easy access icons on the homepage, like you're seeing here as an example. We're hoping to roll these sites out throughout this next year. We're really excited about working on those sites.
Okay, and so Tara, a moment ago you mentioned mobile devices. Parents can actually get more information on their mobile devices from the district app. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so the websites are certainly not the only place to find information about what's going on at your kid's school. You can download the free VPS mobile app and subscribe to your school or schools, more than one school if you have kids at other schools. You receive news, calendar dates, the oh-so-important lunch menu, and notification alerts from the app directly, so you don't have to go to the website. The app also translates to 70 different languages, so it's pretty accessible. You can download the app through the Apple Store or on Google Play for free.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So parents who don't necessarily have a strong internet connection at home, do it on their phone.
Yeah.
Also on the go, I guess, is pretty cool. Tara, I want you to know that I do have the VPS app on my phone and tablet, even though I don't have kids in the district. So
it's important to stay up to date on district information too. So.
Well, thanks, Tara. I appreciate taking the time, and we'll check in with you next time.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, we'll be right back after this break.
VPS Game Time provides students with an experience unlike any other. if you like sports or technology or just want to try something new. VPS Game Time lets kids support their schools in a new way. With professional broadcasting equipment, you can work behind the scenes to produce a live sports broadcast. There's a lot of action inside, but there's just as much out here. Whether that be creating the digital score bug you see on screen, running instant replays, getting the perfect shot, or even directing the broadcast. You can be a part of the team and help bring these broadcasts to life. If you're interested in helping out, talk to Nick Vole at nick.vole@vansd.org. Come join VPS Game Time.
One of the premier programs at Skyview High School is its SMT department. That's Science, Math, and Technology. And joining us live via Google Hangouts is the guy in charge of that program, Nate Macon. Nate, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here, Nick.
So for the uninitiated, what is SMT?
So it's Science, Math, and Technology. It's a magnet program at Skyview High School. It's about 17% of the population of Skyview, and it's a program with the goal of getting people who are interested in that kind of subject matter, technical learning, engineering, math, the scientific method applied to all sorts of different things. The idea is to get them who are interested to kind of pick up a career in the sciences.
Mm-hmm. And SMT, I know, is one of those fields that's been expanding over the last few years as schools start to hone in on it. Why would you say that that's sort of an important area for our schools to focus on?
I mean, the skills are foundational, and really, I mean, my opinion, everybody needs to be able to problem solve one way or another. We teach the scientific process, so it's more objective problem solving, which is really, it applies to all sorts of technical fields, whether you decide to be a scientist, a mathematician, an engineer, or just work in a tech field in general.
Okay, so for then an SMT student, what does their school path look like? What kind of things are they doing? What kind of classes are they taking? And what kind of sort of opportunities do they have to sort of broaden those skills they're getting?
Well, that's really dependent upon the user. It depends on the kid. We designed the program to be very open-ended, to really provide them a lot of choice within the context of the fields that are science, math, and tech. So, for instance, we offer a bunch of engineering courses. If a student is very interested in engineering, they can go that pathway. They have the choices. We just set the rules where they have to have certain credits in certain areas. But within those areas, they have a lot of choice in choosing which courses they take. And so what's nice is while the program is regimented and there are requirements that the faculty will hold the students to, really where they place those credits is up to them and what their passion is.
You know, I've been in your classroom a number of times, observing lessons, shooting video, things like that. And I know one of the things you're big on is hands-on activities, just all kinds of crazy things. Why is it so important for kids to really get their hands on the science as opposed to just filling out paperwork or reading in a book?
Totally. You got to screw up. That's the name of the game. You got to mess up to learn. And so we try to provide as many opportunities as we really can in the Science, Math, and Technology Magnet to get kids' hands on things so they realize that it's not as easy or as cut and dry as what a textbook may offer. Not that a textbook can't offer great information, but as soon as you have to actually build something that works, you figure out it's a lot different than just reading about it. And what it causes you to do is it causes you to fail a lot more often. And I don't know about you, Nick, but me, when I screw something up, I tend to remember it better.
Yeah, that would mean I remember a lot of things because I screw up a lot of things. So speaking of these hands-on projects, one of your coolest things at Skyview is your robotics team, the Stormbots. Could you kind of tell us about what that is and how that really helps kids get sort of dug into the lessons you're teaching?
Sure. Well, for those that don't know, First Robotics is a nationwide competition. Every year they release a challenge, and those challenges are taken on by robotics teams from high schools across the country. And the Stormbots are one of a kind, and the opportunity is really one of a kind. What's really nice is these students have to see what it is like to be in industry, and they can see the certain levels of their academia that apply directly to that industry. And in terms of the Science, Math, and Tech Magnet, the Stormbots really nestle in as a wonderful out-of-school experience where they get to build, a 120-pound robot that has to do multitudes of tasks competitively and under a time requirement that really makes them apply the things that they've learned in class in a whole new creative different way. and it's a high octane competition. I can't say enough about it. It's excellent.
So students who have gone through your program, a lot of them obviously are going to college for science-related fields. Could you give us some examples maybe of some of the things you've heard from alums?
What's been nice when you hear back from alums is whether what we've done has been really valuable to them or not. We have some students who don't go into STEM-related fields. They learn a lot from us and they say, hey, this isn't for me, which is great too. What they're coming away with, though, if they do go into a STEM-related field, ideally is a really competitive foundational content knowledge, which means that they're not going to be confused by anything their college professors should be telling them in their first or maybe even second year of college, depending upon the courses that they take, meaning nothing should be a surprise to them. Ideally, this gives them a leg up to get really involved in either a research lab or an extracurricular activity like, I don't know, building a Formula One racer or a solar car. It gives them a way to find things that allow them to apply their academics.
Okay. So if you have a kid at home right now watching this who's interested in getting involved in the SMT, or parents who want more information, how do kids get involved at Skyview in the SMT program?
So our application usually opens at the beginning of February every single year. You'll hear about it on the Vancouver Public Schools webpage. If you need more information about us, you can get onto Skyview's webpage and you can check out the SMT page. We have all of our academic information. The Stormbots have their own page as well if you're interested in that. You could also call the school or email skyview.smt@vansd.org and we'll answer all the questions you got.
All right. Well, Nate, I want to thank you for joining us. I know you got a lot of other stuff going on right now on a Friday night, but I appreciate you joining us.
Wonderful to be here, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. As Nate mentioned, the Stormbots are back up and running, and if you know a student who's interested in getting involved, there's a meeting for prospective members on September 26th at 7 p.m. It's going to be at Skyview High School. Students must bring a parent or guardian for this informational meeting, and you can see the web address on your screen there at stormbots.com. Okay, well, let's get back into football. Tonight, Skyview plays its third game of the year against a non-local opponent. In week one, they took out Sunset High School down in the Portland area. Last week, they headed north to play defending state champ Eastside Christian in Seattle. Now, this video comes to us courtesy of our good friends over at the Columbian, who do such a great job of covering high school sports. Here's Hayden Frober punching it in on a tough run from the 5-yard line. That touchdown tied the game at 7 in the first quarter. Later, Tavis Pinkney makes a tough catch, gets popped, stays on his feet, and scores. And we'll have it from another angle here. That touchdown drew Skyview within 4 points in the third quarter, but Eastside Catholic hung on tough to win 31-16. It was a tough loss for Skyview against a great opponent on the road. And Skyview has scheduled a tough first stretch of the season for itself, so we sent an intern, Cobalt Sjogren, down to practice this week to ask the team how it feels about its season so far.
We want to be league champs. NBLC, nothing but league champs.
Already this season, the Skyview Storm achieved a victory against Sunset from Oregon and lost to Eastside Catholic, last year's state champion out of Seattle.
Obviously, we can do better. We've kind of hurt ourselves a few times, but we've been doing well. It's just the first 2 games, so I'm looking forward to the rest of it. I feel good about it. We've been working really hard as a team throughout the whole offseason and practices. We've been trying to come together and each do our individual jobs and not been trying to do too much as an individual.
So far, we've made big gains between week 1 and week 2. We've had a few injuries, but we're real pleased as coaches of the progress of our team right now.
Players at Skyview have a mantra of sorts.
We want to be one of the best programs in the state of Washington, and be the best, we have to beat the best.
We wanted to play the best because we want to be the best, and so we feel that those games are going to help us more than some other teams. So we're looking to play the best in the Northwest.
We know we have a really good team this year, so we want to make sure we're ready for playoffs, playing tough teams early instead of easy teams, so that we're ready for challenges in the future. Yeah, we want to win league and then make a good run at state. We want to get to the Dome.
Well, we'd like to get back and win the league championship again, and that's always our #1 goal, and then get in the playoffs and see where we go from there.
With high morale and a good track record, they seem confident that they'll succeed this season. Skyview players feel that they are improving with each game and that their goal is well within reach.
We've got several people back, and we're not at mid-season form by any means, but I believe we've made improvements in most areas.
We've got a lot of guys that have been putting in work mentally and physically to make sure that they're in the right spot come Friday nights.
This is Cobalt Shogren reporting for VPS Game Time.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our league scoreboard. We have a bunch of games scheduled tonight. We don't have any other early games except for the one with Battleground, and they are big, I know that. We do have the scores coming up for you in just a sec. There are a ton of late games. We actually have 12 local games on the schedule, and we're going to try to follow all of them for you. We're using our friends at the Columbian to help us keep track of that on Twitter. You can see Battleground up big there. That was in the second quarter, 41-6. The game has progressed a little, and we'll have an update for you on that score. And, of course, O'Day and Skyview, the other early game. You can see the wide variety of opponents our local teams are playing, from Yakima to Astoria, all the way up to the Seattle area and then out east. There is another group of games we'll take a look at here in just a sec that will also be following tonight. Those are the later games. And I can tell you that there are some tough matchups there, especially look at that Union Eastside Catholic game. Eastside Catholic, the team that knocked off Skyview, we just showed you a couple minutes ago. So Union's going to have its hands full with that game. So a good schedule of games for local teams tonight. We are following social media tonight, seeing what you guys are up to, and actually we're tweeting our superintendent, tweeting the old boss here. He says, beautiful night at Kagan Stadium. He's out watching that Skyview game. Panoramic shot there from the grandstand. He tries to get to as many sporting events, I know, as he can to support all of our local athletes. So thanks to our superintendent, Steve Webb, for posting that. I think we've got one more tweet. This is Abby Davis, teacher at Skyview, took a shot at the student section there, packed in, an early game. So not as many fans as you normally see for a Skyview game, but I'm pretty sure that's full now as parents get off work. But the Skyview Storm students jamming it in there for the first home game. You can see she says, are you ready for the Skyview Storm? We are ready for you. And Skyview playing tough tonight as well. We do have another game coming up after this one. This is our first doubleheader of the year. This is our first football broadcast of the year. You can see Evergreen Plainsmen there coming in to play Hudson's Bay Eagles. It should be a fun game tonight. The Eagles of Hudson's Bay shellacked Rochester last week, winning 44-6, and are looking much improved this year under Coach Mark Oliveros. It's their first foray back into the 3A Greater St. Helens League after competing at the 2A level the last couple of seasons. So this one should be a really fun game, and Evergreen moving down to the 3A level. So a league game for those guys that should be pretty fun. And we do have that game coming up in just a little bit, but here's a look at the schedule for the upcoming broadcast for VPS Game Time. On Tuesday, September 27th, we have a big girls soccer doubleheader. First at 5 p.m., Hudson's Bay is going to host Washougal. Then at 7, Columbia River takes on Woodland. Make sure you tune in for that one. On Friday, September 30th, we're coming back with more football, and this is the game everybody looks forward to every year, Columbia River versus Skyview. Always an exciting game. That one kicks off at 7 p.m. Now, all of these games can be seen on Comcast Channel 328 and also at youtube.com/VanSDTV. We're also trying to stream on Facebook. We are, as far as I can tell, successfully doing so tonight for the very first time. So we're pretty excited. We're trying to get you, our local kids, wherever you are, social media, TV, or whatever. And so while we have a minute, let me tell you about what we're doing here. We are VPS Game Time, a part of the Vancouver Public School System. So what is VPS Game Time? Well, it's an extracurricular opportunity for the district's video production students. And while you see me on the screen and hear Tom and Leonard on the microphone, it's all kids behind the scenes. And so almost entirely a student crew. That means kids are running cameras, they're running our crew back here, and they're running the game action. And I'm told it's about to start, so let's go ahead and go back to Kiggins Bowl with Tom and Leonard. Guys?
O'Day here in the second half just underway as Skyview takes over at their own 40-yard line after the kickoff return, and the handoff to Frober goes up the middle, and a gain of about 4 for Skyview.
And Skyview did score at the end of the first half and get the ball back here. So they could cut a little bit into that O'Day lead. However, nothing they do here will tie the game back up.
Trying to ride a little momentum that they got off of that last drive, which resulted in a 22-yard Wyatt Stallman field goal. Of course, we saw 21 straight points by O'Day to take a 28-14 lead. And Barnum back to pass and fires near side and complete and out of bounds is Wyatt Stallman, the kicker, the aforementioned kicker. That is good for a first down and a gain down to the 43-yard line into O'Day territory.
And something that the Storm didn't utilize that much in the first half. Quick, short passes, get the ball out of Barnum's hand fast, but instead they opted for the screen passes instead.
So Brody Barnum with two receivers right, one left, fakes the handoff to Frober. That ball is juggled and dropped incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Nearly a fumble recovery and a touchdown for Wayne Johnson, the junior defensive end there.
And Stallman couldn't find the handle on that one on the quick out. Opening minute of the third quarter, and Skyview trying to put something on the board and close the gap here down 28-17.
And we're going to have a flag on the play on the far side.
It is offsides against the Fighting Irish, so that will move it forward 5 yards, make it 2nd and 5. So things improving here for Skyview from field position and down and distance standpoint. And with the ball and a chance to cut into this 11-point lead.
Already pretty far into the O'Day territory here early on in this drive. Only a few plays to get into O'Day territory.
Tavis Pinckney lined up short right. Barnum drops back and looks over the middle to Frober, who catches and runs and is forced out of bounds at the 27-yard line. A gain of 15 and another first down.
Down goes our cameraman on the sideline, hoping he's okay, as he was taken out there by Frober as he fell out of bounds.
Camera looks to be in one piece, but not sure if he's working on it down there. He's sort of surveying the situation.
Yeah, I don't think he was paying too much attention to the play and didn't see Frober barging right at him.
And video equipment is not cheap. Snap to Barnum, handoff up the middle, and the option to Frober. The dive play goes for about 5.
And that there was a read option. Barnum a little bit reluctant to give up the ball, but Frober kind of took it from him there and powered his way through for 5.
He reached that mesh point, and Frober wound up keeping the football and picked up about 5, make it 2nd and 5.
And that's always one of those things about that read option. We don't pull it that much. Like Barnum doesn't pull it that much. Frober kind of expects the ball in his hand.
Again, they go read option, and this time he is stormed in the backfield, and Barnum is sacked for a loss.
Number 87, Spencer McCabe, the senior defensive end, getting in there, blowing up that play in the backfield.
A loss of 6 on the play. That'll make it 3rd and 11.
Need to get a little bit closer here for Skyview if they want to be in field goal range. Right now, probably going to be going for it if it does end up getting 4th.
So trips right, including Pinckney in the slot for Barnum. And this is a faked handoff, and Barnum is flushed out. Heavy pressure, has to get rid of it over the head of the defender, and incomplete. Make it 4th down.
Dangerous idea there from Barnum, trying to throw the ball away. Didn't get it to the sideline. Nearly intercepted by number 24, Frederick Cooper, coming over from his linebacker position in the middle of the field.
So it looks to be that Skyview will stay on the field with the offense here on 4th and 11, kind of in no man's land, so might as well go for it, see if they can pick up a first down here.
You could maybe possibly kind of run a rollout quick punt, but probably not going to be happening here from the Storm. As they look to the sideline for a guidance on the play call.
Sitting at the 29 would be a 46-yard field goal. And Barnum back and is dropped, sacked in the backfield at the 40-yard line by number 76. That is Davion Dixon with the big sack, and that ends the drive for Skyview, and O'Day will take over on downs.
And we're going to get a replay here of that sack. The Storm offensive line getting absolutely manhandled so far in this game. And at the start of the second quarter, or the second half, nothing has changed.
And Dixon came through like a ton of bricks on that play, and Barnum was dead in the water as O'Day now takes over 1st and 10 at their own 40. And Warren King in at quarterback once again. The play up the middle is swallowed up and stopped for a minimal gain of about a half a yard.
What an absolute play there by Javon Kelly. Triple option there on O'Day's part. Javon Kelly doesn't know who has the ball, decides to grab both the running back and the quarterback and take them both to the ground with some help from his teammates. Quite impressive there play from the big fella.
When you're a space eater, you can do that. King under center now, pitches to the left, and this is Jamin Patu with room to run. A gain of about 12 and a first down.
And that pitch play is destroying the Storm, over pursuing. The linebackers are over pursuing. And we're going to get a replay here to show you just what I'm talking about. Watch all 3 Skyview linebackers. 2 of them go too deep. Patu cuts it back up the middle. No one there anymore. Gains 15 yards.
So 1st and 10 at the now 47 of Skyview for O'Day as they are up 28-17 and looking for more here in the third. And King with a split backfield turns and hands it off to Patu. Patu bounces it outside, breaks a tackle, still going, falling forward.
Patu has some great vision for a ball carrier there, able to find the smallest holes.
A gain of 5 for Patu, make it 2nd and 5.
Looks like we have a possible injury down on the field. It looks like number 68, Javon Kelly, holding his ankle, knee, not entirely sure.
Up quickly off the turf. That's a good sign. Let's see how much weight he can put on that.
The injury does not seem to be extremely serious. It looks like it definitely is in the knee. He's not bending his knee. I'm going to say probably the knee region.
Always tough to speculate, but putting some weight on it is good, but in a little bit of pain for sure as he talks to the coaching staff.
You always hate to see that, especially in high school football. You hate to see that at any level, but high school football, these seasons and careers of players can be so short.
And the way he's holding that leg and now down on the ground outside the sideline actually looks like some sort of a leg cramp. So here we have, after a minimal gain on 2nd down, we have 3rd and about 4 for O'Day.
And again, the Skyview D-line does end up in the backfield of O'Day, but they still manage to get a small gain there. Not really getting helped by their linebacking core.
And indeed, the injury there looks to be some sort of a muscle cramp. They are working on him down on the sideline. Now King turns and hands off. That is fumbled in the backfield, and that is recovered by O'Day, but that will bring up 4th down.
And as I was talking about, here we go. We're going to see right here on the replay, both linebackers blitz, trying to get into that backfield, expecting the run from O'Day. And why wouldn't they? They've ran it all game.
And Javon Kelly continues to be worked on by the trainer, stretching that right leg out. Looks to be a tight hamstring or calf muscle.
As long as it's not anything serious, that's what we like to see.
So 4th and 5, and Warren King with eye backfield, and the Skyview Storm jump off sides on 4th and 5, and this will be interesting to see just how close this ball comes to a first down.
A large amount of offside penalties and false starts so far in this game. This is going to be a 4th and inches. We'll see.
So it isn't enough for a first down. Make it 4th and inches. And again, the Fighting Irish up.
Let's see if Skyview blitzes those gaps again.
With a split backfield, it's King lunging forward, and he's got it easily.
Unfortunate there. The Storm possibly could have held him on a 4th and 6 there, but 4th and inches made it too easy for this great O-line of O'Day to convert that.
So O'Day with a first down and 10 now at the Skyview 37. Inside of 7 minutes now in the third quarter, and the Irish with a 28-17 lead.
And so far, the Fighting Irish game plan has come out and worked perfectly, pounding the ball on the ground, wearing down the defensive line of the Storm.
With a split backfield, King turns and hands it off. Over the left side goes number 25, Hunter Franco, who had a touchdown in the first half. Picks up a gain of about 9. Make it 2nd and 1. The 28-yard line of Skyview.
And when Coach Kohler told me before the game that their backfield was interchangeable, he was not kidding. We've seen 5 to 6 different ball carriers tonight out of that backfield, out of different formations as well.
Again, King under center. And the handoff actually keeps it and picks up good yardage inside the 20-yard line to the 17, and a flag on the play.
And there, King, recognizing linebacker was going to be blitzing on the right side, tucks the handoff, keeps it for himself, and goes around the left side. Huge hole once again. O'Day opening up holes all night long against the Storm.
And this is coming back on a holding penalty by the Irish. Let's see if we can pick up what happened here.
Can't really tell from that angle, not entirely sure where the holding call, who it's on. But you can see just a mass of O'Day linemen getting forward, blowing their man off the ball.
As the old saying goes, there's holding on every play.
That's true. And then we're going to have a delay of game penalty on O'Day as well, it looks like.
So make it 2nd and 1 at the 28. Clock running at 5:45 in the third quarter.
Interesting. The referee gave the delay of game penalty, and then nothing happened.
Did see that, but nonetheless, play resumes, and Warren King now on the little wishbone handoff, and Franco busts it inside the 10 down to the 6-yard line.
And once again, there's that fullback draw going right through the middle. See a replay of it here. Spins off, and the way that Warren King hands off the ball, that slow spin, and then comes right through the hole with their back, it's extremely hard to tell who has the ball and who you want to be tackling in that situation.
That's that ball deception, which is an art, certainly, and he has it down pretty well. So
it takes a special talent quarterback to run the read option, especially this effectively.
1st and goal at the 7. King with an eye backfield with Patu and Franco behind him. Quick handoff to Franco up the middle. Now King gets in there and tries to push as well, and they go forward to the 5, a gain of 2.
And when you look at Warren King, 6'4", 224 pounds, also plays defensive end, which is why he's number 77. I mean, you want that guy in there pushing piles. He's going to help getting that pile moving in your team's direction.
Now inside of 5 minutes in the third quarter, and the O'Day Fighting Irish threatening to open this lead, which currently sits at 28-17 at the 5-yard line, and a pitch to Jamin Patu, who goes in for the 5-yard touchdown, his 2nd of the game.
And there it is, the other pitch, the pitch play again, biting the Storm. The linebacker's not there. Coach Kaiser must be furious with his linebacking core. He takes so much pride in them, and they have been non-existent so far this game as O'Day has gashed them. We'll see here on the replay. The linebackers come down too hard, crash down wide open hole, and Patu puts it into the end zone for 6.
So make it 34-17 with the extra point about to go here. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is true to make it 35-17. The Fighting Irish now in control of this football game.
And the Fighting Irish playing very well tonight, but Tom, the Storm are not playing very well. They look nothing like they did when they played Eastside Catholic.
Certainly the game been dictated by penalties and turnovers. Certainly self-inflicted wounds have been a big factor for Skyview tonight.
Yeah, and last week against O'Day, they played a very clean game, which helped them keep it so close. It was 16-17 going into the second half, but here O'Day has run rampant on them. And it may have been because Eastside played a more traditional style. They're used to that. Not a lot of teams down here in Southwest Washington run this triple option. The most notable team, Evergreen, used to do it a lot when they were in 4A, when they had the players. They've kind of abandoned it now, and you just don't see it as much. It's quite hard to defend.
So what does Steve Kaiser do now as he attempts to pull his team out of this funk that they've been in since about the 4:45 mark of the second quarter?
Sometimes there's some things you just can't coach, and right now, heart is one of those things. Skyview's going to have to dig deep here and find out what they're really made of. If they truly want to be a playoff team at the 4A level, they're going to have to come back and put some fight into this game. At least try to make it a little bit closer than what it is right now.
Aaron Wise and Tavis Pinkney back to receive, and again, this is covered as Wise tried to come up for it, but that was covered by one of the up men, and Skyview will take over at the 24-yard line.
Number 31, Chad Eichste there, recovering that kind of deep onside kick almost.
They definitely, O'Day, that is, has made a concerted effort to not kick it to Pinkney.
Yeah,
they've gone on Wise's side all night.
I think they've realized from Pinkney out there playing receiver, he's quite dangerous when he has the ball in his hands, and he's quite quick as well. Spotlighting him here with number 20, the only one playing press coverage.
A handoff to Frober over the right side. He is picking up positive yardage, gain of about 5 as he's pushed out of bounds at about the 29.5-yard line.
And so far, the Skyview offense has been able to get positive yards on each drive, but O'Day has found an answer on 2nd and 3rd down. It'll be interesting to see here what the Storm can do to try to mix up that O'Day defense.
Ball spotted just inside the 30 as Brody Barnum now will try to lead the charge for Skyview as the Storm down 35-17 here at Kiggins Bowl.
Well, we have a stoppage in play. Steve Kaiser, Isaac Bond, and it looks like Eric Rice going over some plays down here on the whiteboard, looking at what they need to do to stop this offense of O'Day.
And a whistle now and a stoppage in play. Conversation about the down marker on the other side of the field. Looks like it's actually coming apart, and they're over there trying to fix it, to put it back together.
Not sure. It looks like the top might have fallen off.
The top is coming apart, and they're working on it.
Well, that's an interesting stoppage in play. Why don't we get do we have a recap of the scoring plays so far in this game, Tom?
While they do that, I think they're actually got it fixed. Looks like they've got it taken care of, and now we should be able to go here. And we are. We'll get to the recap here next time out. And Barnum now looking to the sideline to get the play and get ready to go with one receiver right and one left. Hands off, and Frober takes the handoff. He fumbles the ball. That is kicked loose, and then bounced on by number 57 for Skyview.
Number 51 there.
51.
Michael
Lundgren, yes. So disaster averted there, as that most certainly would have resulted in more points for O'Day.
It could have been a scoop and score. Number 20, Connor Gregor. We'll see here on the replay. Frober drops the ball, nearly grabbed there by Gregor, but knocked away, and luckily Lundgren paying attention.
And now dropping back is Barnum, flushed out of the pocket, and is brought down after getting a couple of yards, but still a busted play there. And that will bring up fourth down and a punting situation for Skyview. And indeed, here comes the punt team.
Here comes quarterback punter Brody Barnum. Had a great punt in the first quarter.
He did.
See if he can do it again here.
As you mentioned, a net of 55 on that first punt. And calm winds here, almost no breeze to speak of here tonight at Kiggins Bowl. And Barnum standing at his own 10-yard line. Punt is away, and this one nowhere near the first one. It takes a bounce and then two-hop, and will let that roll. And that rolls dead at the 33-yard line.
45-yard punt on that one, if you count the bounces and the rolls.
He got a good bounce, and not doing too bad for himself as a punter tonight.
Yeah.
Certainly he'd like to be doing better as a quarterback.
Yeah, definitely struggling tonight. I don't know if the play call has necessarily set him up for success. He did have the one interception on the corner route, but once again, that was after they had already ran that exact same play 4 times and was finally picked off. So a little bit of an interesting game here for Barnum and the Skyview offensive strategy.
So O'Day showing why they're the number 3 team in 3A. In control in this football game, up 35-17 now in the third, and now with the ball on offense. And Warren King with an I formation turns and hands it off, and bouncing it outside, and a gain of about 4 to 5. Mark Tafia, who has had himself a game also in this one.
Yes, he has. He had the touchdown earlier, had a big return, and then drew a personal foul penalty on the end of that. But while I've criticized so much of Skyview's play, I don't think I can criticize O'Day. Other than the penalties early on to start the game, they've cleaned those up, and they look like a much better football team than the Storm here.
Yeah, Tafia was almost solely responsible for the touchdown that tied it at 14 after the big kickoff return, ran it in from 20 to make it a 14-all game. And this one is handed off up the middle. A gain of about 4. And again, those stable of running backs from O'Day continue to pound away. Parker Deanna on the carry on that one.
And O'Day here, 3rd and short. No surprise what they're going to do here.
And time on their side now as we are approaching the fourth quarter with just a minute 35 left to go, third period.
Skyview's been almost non-existent here in this third quarter on offense.
And Warren King with a split backfield now turns and keeps it, puts his head down and continues to bowl. You know, he picks up 2 yards just by falling forward.
And a quarterback sneak there for 7 yards. That's a sign of how great your offensive line is playing. Getting serious leverage, pushing the defensive line backfield. I've talked about it all game, but I don't know how you don't talk about it. It's been fantastic.
Gain of 7 on the play, and like I mentioned, he's so tall he falls forward. He gets 2 more yards on whatever else he's gotten.
It's true. Long, lanky body.
First and 10 at the 49.
O'Day running some clock here.
So 1:11 to go, third period. And the O'Day Fighting Irish in control of this one now and into Skyview territory. And King turns and pitches it to Tafia on the pitch out. Gain of about 6. And again, no stopping this O'Day rushing attack.
No, absolutely not. The linebackers were in a bit better position there for Skyview, but still, the O'Day linemen and the O'Day fullbacks able to blow them backwards gained 6 yards on a simple toss.
So final 30 seconds of the third quarter. And O'Day continues to pound that rock here as they get ready to go again in an I formation. This time it's a play action and a bootleg out to the right. Throw and incomplete. With 13 seconds left to go in the third quarter. That one intended for number 32, Samuel Sanchez, was just overthrown.
Are you looking for some passing stats here on the night for O'Day here, Tom? I'll give them to you. 13 seconds left in the third quarter. O'Day's quarterback, Warren King, 1 for 2, 13 yards.
Very nice. They haven't needed to throw the ball, as you've mentioned before, because they've been running it so well.
When you are up 35-17, throwing the ball twice, that is a recipe for success.
Good place to be. So King turns and hands it off to Tafia over the left side, and he is stopped for about a gain of a half a yard, and that will bring us to a close at the end of the third quarter with the score, the number 3 ranked Fighting Irish of O'Day 35, and the 4A number 9 ranked Skyview Storm 17. If you are just joining us, we'll take a look back at some of the scoring for this game. It was a scoreless first quarter, hard to believe now, but neither team found the end zone in the first, and no one scored until a 5-yard touchdown run by Angelo Sarchi made it a 7-0 Skyview lead. Then later in the second, the Irish answered with a 32-yard touchdown run by Hunter Franco to tie the game at 7. But Skyview came right back with a Hayden Frober 14-yard TD run to go up 14-7. That's when the game began to change as Mark Tafia took a kickoff return down to the 35-yard line, tack on a personal foul by Skyview, and leaves the ball at the 20. So a one-play, 20-yard drive, which was a 20-yard touchdown run by Tafia, tied the game at 14. Moments later, Jamin Patu with a 12-yard touchdown run for O'Day as they took a 21-14 lead. That was followed by an interception by Dominic Gates by O'Day, and again took over in Skyview territory and punched it in with a Connor Gregor 10-yard TD to make it 28-14. Just before the half, Wyatt Stallman kicked a 22-yard field goal to make it 28-17. O'Day at the half. And then in the third quarter, Patu with his second touchdown of the night, a 5-yarder, to put it at 35-17. And that's where we stand with 1 quarter of football left to go. Now, on 4th and 3, it appears that O'Day is going to bring on the punt team. At first, it looked like they were just going to go ahead and keep the pedal on the metal, Leonard, but now they're going to punt.
Well, I got 3 seconds to get this punt off. And Kaiser has to use a timeout. He had 14 men on the field. Got one of them off in time, couldn't get the other one.
And he is not pleased about it, to say the least.
Down there talking once again to his special teams coach. Skyview special teams going to need to take a long time in the film room tomorrow after this game on the kick returns as well as the punt situations.
Yeah, and it looked to be that O'Day was going to have a hard time getting the punt off to begin with, and then Skyview had to call timeout and sort of bailed them out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely bailed them out a little bit. Play clock ran down to 3 seconds before Skyview called that timeout. But just Skyview has played such a sloppy game, not even realizing there's 2 extra. I can understand maybe missing 1, but 2 extra men on the field is definitely not characteristic of the Storm.
So O'Day will line it up to punt again. Tavis Pinckney back at his own 10-yard line. And this one is rolled and then booted away, and Pinckney will let this one go as it is far sideline. And then takes a favorable bounce for O'Day as it stayed inbounds but continued to head towards the end zone and goes out at the 11.
And you usually talk about punts going inside the 20-yard line. O'Day's punter has had 2 inside the 10-yard line tonight. Fantastic punting, setting up the Storm with really tough field position here tonight.
Yeah, and everything going against the Storm right now. Trying to get something going on offense, down by 18 points with 11:50 to go in this game.
Yeah, I think the Storm are probably going to have to come out firing here if they want any chance of coming back into this game.
So Frober to the left of Barnum. Barnum takes the snap and a quick throw out. That is complete and inbounds for a gain of about 7. Second and 3.
Storm with the no huddle approach as they've done all game. However, haven't really utilized it to much effect as Frober busts a big one there.
Frober around to the left side and good for a first down, out of bounds at about the 28-yard line.
But Skyview, they go with the no huddle. However, they don't really up the tempo that much. Just kind of seem to let the play come in, set their formations, rather than try to really run it down the throat of O'Day and burn him out.
Stallman left, Carter Hill right, and Pinckney in the slot for Barnum with Frober in the backfield. And the handoff goes to Frober up the middle, and he picks up about 4 yards, possibly 5, just shy of the 34-yard line.
And while Skyview is losing this game, Frober has been a workhorse for them, getting a majority of the carries here and getting a good amount of yardage on each one.
Again, Pinckney in the slot, but Barnum takes the snap and looks left. That is caught, complete, and out of bounds to Wyatt Stallman. Good for a first down.
A little bit more opening. Oh, Skyview is opening up the playbook a little bit more here on this drive than they have so far in the game. Usually it's been run, screen, or run. Taking some shots downfield a little bit. Not too far, but it's a little bit more diverse than what they were doing in the first half.
So Barnum in the shotgun again, turn and hand it off to Frober, who has a seam and busts loose to about the 49-yard line. Gain of 7, just shy of midfield.
Storm offense clicking right now.
And this one up the middle as Frober goes up the middle, and the pace being picked up here, but there are flags on the field.
Skyview down by 18 points. So,
and this as suspected a holding call, which will back up the Skyview Storm.
It's always unfortunate when you have such a nice game to lose it all on a holding penalty. Very unfortunate.
So 35-17 O'Day here, as it has been all O'Day since about the 4:45 mark of the second quarter. Rattled off 21 and unanswered before a field goal stopped the run just before the half.
Yeah, outscored 21-3 since that point in the game. Not looking too good right now. And a lot of the credit has to be given to both O'Day's defensive and offensive line. Pressuring Barnum is on the defensive side and opening up holes on the offensive side.
So now 2 to the left and 1 to the right as Pinckney goes slot left for Barnum. Takes the snap and now looks right and fires and complete to Carter Hill. And there is a flag on the field. That's a gain of about 6, but we will have to sort it out, and that is a personal foul.
Kind of interesting to see the flag all the way in the backfield on a face mask. Was Barnum dragged down by the face mask? I wasn't able to see.
Hard to tell as well because I was watching Carter catch the ball.
Carter was hit from behind.
I did see the flag out of my peripheral vision. Interesting to know if we had a replay on that. But nonetheless, it's a personal foul and move the ball up 15 after they spot it. In the process of doing that now, and this is some semblance of signs of life for Skyview here, as we saw in the first half, penalties and turnovers fueling the O'Day offense. Now turnabout is fair play.
The old saying, what goes around comes around. However, both teams did look pretty poor in the first quarter, so it's hard to say that O'Day is getting what they...
Pinckney in the slot, and Barnum now looks right, and that is fired incomplete. That intended for Wyatt Stallman, who could not come up with it.
Another comeback route there by the Storm, throwing these quick outs, quick comebacks, trying to get the ball out of Barnum's hands before O'Day's defensive line can swarm him like they have been.
So 9:45 on the clock, and Barnum now again with the familiar setup, 2 left, 1 right, and Frober in the backfield. Barnum now to Frober, who runs out of the backfield, catches the ball, and picks up a couple of yards.
1.5, 2,
yeah, make
maybe?
that 2 yards. We'll get a replay on this one, as Frober does a nice job slipping out of the backfield. They like to use him like that.
And you can see no one really picks him up until after the ball's already been thrown. Hard to cover someone when you don't have anyone designated.
Barnum with Frober, and Barnum now going to look left, but he's flushed. He's going to have to pull this one down, but then slings it downfield. That is incomplete. And again, intended for Derek Nelson.
Barnum struggling with his accuracy so far this game. Kind of surprising to see, but he has been under a lot of pressure, been flushed out of the pocket a couple times.
Certainly under pressure in this one, and that will lead to more inaccuracies. 4th down now for Barnum and the Skyview offense in what feels like if they don't make this one, they have no shot in coming back in this game.
Yeah, this 4th down conversion is huge. The momentum could swing very quickly back to O'Day, especially if they bust off one of those big runs they have been.
So Barnum now looking left, drops it inside to Pinckney, and Pinckney is short of the 1st down at about the 30-yard line, and looks to be that O'Day will take over on downs.
It's going to be close.
And indeed, it is O'Day football. So Pinckney made the catch and looked like for a second he might get the 1st down, but did come up short. And they're going to go ahead and measure this because it is that close. From up here at first glance, it doesn't appear that he has it.
It's about, the marker is about at the 29.5, the O'Day 29.5. The ball is a
29 3/4.
Yeah, it's very, very close.
It's going to be 6 to 8 inches short. Oh, it's a little more than that even. It's going to be about 18 inches short.
That chain was definitely not pulled out to full length there on the sideline. Or I have a bad angle, or my eyes are bad.
Or we're 70 yards away.
That's true. No matter what it is, O'Day ball now.
That's right. So now they can salt this one away with 9:25 on the clock and an 18-point lead.
And remember, their last drive took up 7 minutes of that clock, so they could very easily get the Storm down to under 2 minutes. Just an unbelievable rushing attack tonight, provided by the O'Day offense.
So Warren King and the O'Day offense back out on the field. I formation. He turns and pitches it. And this ball out of the backfield. Gain of about 5.
Got a flag on the field. It looked like to me I saw some holding down here on the near side.
That was Frederick Cooper on the run.
And there it is, holding on the offense.
So back that up. And we will go again.
Storm desperately need a stop here. Even then, it may be too late. Down 18 points with only 9 minutes left in.
Certainly in this point of the game, your defense has to come up with some sort of play to shift this momentum when the offense isn't getting it done. They need to contribute something to help the offense here.
Yeah, another turnover would be fantastic for them. I haven't forced a turnover yet. That fumble in the first quarter was all between the center and the quarterback of O'Day.
Right.
So you want someone here to step up and make a play if you're the Skyview Storm.
Clock running now with 9:15. And Warren King in an I formation. Turns and hands it off up the middle. And again, Connor Gregor is met by a couple of Skyview defenders, but not before he picks up about 4 yards.
But even by the time Skyview defenders can get there, their defensive line's already been pushed back 4 yards. It's very, very hard to stop a team when you can't even get contact on the running back.
So make it 2nd and 16 now for O'Day, as the holding penalty put them in this situation. And again, I formation. And this time a fake on the pitch and a rollout, and fires complete for a gain of about 5. And that is number 32, Samuel Sanchez, on the catch.
And Warren King now 2 for 3, 18 yards here in the fourth quarter passing, but he's done a lot more on the ground. And what a lot of people don't realize is, as a triple option quarterback, that's an extremely hard. People think you either pull the ball or you don't. You have to read, first off, on the triple option, you read the D tackle. If the D tackle pinches, you don't pull the dive. If you don't give the dive, then you have to read the DN. The DN crashes on you, you have to make the pitch. It's complicated reads at very fast speed.
Certainly a lot going on there, and he makes it look easy. Now King with a wishbone formation and a handoff inside to Gregor, and he has a first down on a 3rd and 11. They go 12 yards up the middle to convert, and that kind of sums it up.
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. Skyview has just not been able to stop the run tonight. Even when they know it's coming, it has been biting them in the behind.
So now clock running with 7:24 remaining in this football game, and a 35-7 O'Day lead, and they are marching once again. And Warren with an I formation and single backs right and left, and a little triple option there, and this one is kept and then handed off. Little confusion there.
Seemed almost like they turned the wrong way.
Franco wound up with it and picked up a couple of yards.
And at the end of that play there, as the Skyview defenders were holding up Franco, you see defenders in there trying to rip at the ball, just desperately trying to create a fumble. This defense needs a spark. This whole team needs a spark here if they want a chance.
That strip mentality certainly prevalent right now in the fourth quarter for Skyview, as, like you said, trying to make something happen. And now a split backfield as King keeps it. Again, it appeared to be a broken play. Falls forward for a gain of about 3. Like I said, when he falls forward, he picks up yardage big time.
Yes, he does. He is a big, big boy out there at quarterback. And just as I was giving him some compliments about the triple options, 2 seemingly busted plays in a row. Just like earlier in the game, I criticized Barnum wasn't taking shots downfield, takes a shot downfield.
Yeah, that was the deep ball to Pinckney that the Storm certainly would have liked to have seen more of tonight.
Yeah, especially because it set up that first touchdown of the game, but it faded quickly. And the first shotgun look here tonight.
And out of the gun, again, it's King going forward with it on the keeper, and he gets into Skyview territory. That will bring up 4th down.
And I believe that O'Day probably goes for it here. You've been running the ball so well against this defensive front. The front 7 has done nothing for Skyview. I think they're probably going to give it a shot and ice the game.
Not much to suggest that they would do otherwise at this point. And certainly with 5 minutes on the clock, in control of this game and comfortable for sure. And the play clock running down, and that is going to draw a timeout from O'Day as they got that timeout in just before the clock went to 0.
Looks like the punt team will be coming on.
So they were simply trying to run down as much clock as they could and now bring in the punt team. Lights really starting to take over here at Kiggins Bowl this evening, and you feel a little bit of that autumn cool breeze coming into the press box now.
Yeah, you do. Still a beautiful night, though, however. The sun hasn't totally gone down. It's quite dark, but still looks pretty.
This one kicked end over end, and Pinckney calls for a fair catch, and he gets that at the 25-yard line. So Skyview now with 4:47, kind of down to their last gasp here.
Yeah, 4:47 left on the clock. You're going to need a lot. You're going to need a quick strike here. And then an onside kick, another quick strike, an onside kick, and a field goal. And you win by 1 point. I don't know how likely that sounds to you, but I know how likely that sounds to me, and it's not very.
I recall a Texas State high school football game, a championship game, years ago, played in Texas Stadium, where one team did exactly what you described and came all the way back to take the lead, and then when they scored, they kicked the ball off with under 10 seconds left, and the team that had been ahead and now was behind took the kickoff back for a touchdown to make it all for naught.
Wow.
It's a legendary game. It's on YouTube. You should look it up sometime. It's Plano, and the other school escapes me, but it involves Plano. And it was one of the most unbelievable comebacks you'll ever see, which was then squashed by a kickoff return to end the game.
That's always a sad way to lose a game.
Yeah, and one of the probably more sad but hilarious parts of that is the home team announcers that were calling the game that had watched their kids come back from being down, I think, 24 at one point, and we're now going to lose on this kickoff return, and it is something that is a little comical. Screenplay for Skyview, and that goes for a gain of about 3.
We're going to get another flag
as
here.
Barnum pitched it out to Fromer, who then got brought down, but there is flag on the field, as you mentioned, Leonard.
Looks like it's going to be going against the O'Day defense, however. It's going to be another face mask. That's going to be another 15 yards for the Storm here.
So tack it on to Frober's little screen reception out of the backfield, and it's a first down for Skyview with 4:40 left.
7 seconds and go 25 yards. But you can't keep relying on O'Day penalties to move you down the field.
Somewhat similar to picking up free throws while the clock's not moving in basketball. So 2 receivers left and 1 right for Barnum, who looks to the left. That ball is tipped and nearly intercepted. That ball was nearly intercepted by number 20, Connor Gregor, who's had himself a night in a number of different ways here. He had a 10-yard touchdown in the third quarter.
The people not having a night, though, are the Skyview offensive linemen. Both the left tackle and the right tackle were absolutely blown by. Barnum had about 0.3 seconds to get that ball out. Then it got tipped by the other defensive lineman. And then he was hit by number 87 on this near side to us.
On 2nd and 10, the handoff to Frober. He gets a seam and goes for about 6.
Frober been one of the bright spots tonight for the Skyview offense, showing why he is 4th in the region in rushing yards. He had 305 coming into this game. I dare say he's eclipsed 100 in this. It seems like he's getting 10 to 15 every possession.
And all-purpose yardage probably up near 175 as he's caught quite a few balls out of the backfield and taken them for yards.
I'd love to draft him on my fantasy team. PPR league?
PPR league, exactly. And he has rarely come out of the game tonight. In there again with Barnum, and the handoff to Frober over the right side, and stopped at about the 49 and pushed backward from there, so no gain on the play.
Once again, Skyview offensive line not getting it done. They have been able to open some holes for Frober, but the passing plays and the majority of the other plays, it has been tough sledding out there.
So Barnum again back to pass and looks right. That ball is caught and turned in the open field as he streaks for the end zone. Carter Hill looked to have open field in front of him, but got brought down.
Touchdown there may change the game, but now more time is going to run off this clock.
And Carter just didn't have enough wheels to break away from the defender who had the angle on him. But it sets up Skyview now with a 1st and goal at the 4. This one is turned and handed off to Frober, and he goes for about 2.
Here comes Barnum asking the ref for the offsides call. The corner well offsides on that far side of the field. Not going to get it though.
So we'll take a look and we'll see this Carter Hill catch and run up the sideline.
After this play, most likely.
After this play, yeah, as Barnum then takes the snap and he...
There it is, the read option for Barnum.
Is in for the touchdown. It's a 2-yard touchdown for Brody Barnum to cut into that O'Day lead.
2:29 left in the game. If Hill scores, that's what 2 plays can do to you. If Hill scores there on that catch and run, there's 3:15 left on the clock. But now another 45 is ran off, 2:30 left in the game.
So 35-23 with the extra point pending as...
Looks like they're going to go for 2.
Barnum, exactly, looking to the sideline and going to try to make this a 10-point game. So Barnum going to sprint left and keep it and just use that athletic ability to get in for the 2-point conversion. Make it 35-25 and don't start the car up just yet.
Yeah, Barnum taking it in there. Outside design QB sprint out. Not sure if he had any reads to pass to, but worked nonetheless, and he brings it in for the 2-point.
So we'll take a look at a couple of the key plays on this drive. First, we're going to see the Carter Hill catch and run where it looked like he had a touchdown.
Cornerback tries to jump the route there. Carter Hill turns around, barely taken down by the ankles at the 5-yard line. And then Barnum on the read option makes the wrong read, but works out nonetheless, breaks the tackle and takes it in. I'm going to see an onside kick here, I would assume.
Yeah, and that was Shea Karstens who ran down Carter Hill on that reception and look where he looked to have a touchdown. But nonetheless, like you said, they still got the score, but they had to use some more time off the clock to get it down to the 10-point lead here. We sit at 35-25 now with 2:29 to go in the game.
And Skyview had to burn a timeout earlier on that 14 men on the field play. So down to 2 timeouts. Once again, it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
So Wyatt Stallman lining this one up for the onside kick.
Only 4 people on the heavy side Skyview has lined up.
So they've got 7 on the wide side of the field as he will try to pop this ball up in the air, but it does have to go 10 yards. So Stallman's kick takes a bounce, but it is touched by a O'Day receiver, number 21.
Skyview has the ball.
That was Shea Karstens who ran down the play earlier, and it looks like Skyview football, and they say it is.
All right. That doesn't change a ton, but...
So those things that we talked about now coming to pass here, but certainly the Skyview offense has to take advantage.
Absolutely. Going to need to score very quickly here, and then 1 onside recovery in a game is almost lucky enough. Dare they get 2.
Yes.
But that was a very nicely executed onside kick. Hit as hard as possible right into the stomach.
Yes. So Barnum now in the shotgun is going to sling this one deep down the far sideline, and that is incomplete. intended for Stallman.
Stallman got pushed off the ball there. We're going to have a replay on the onside kick. There's Stallman kicking it with enough topspin that it hits off Karsten's right in the chest, right off his shoulder pads, the breastplate of them, and it falls right back out to the Storm.
Certainly you would think that the O'Day hands team was in, and Karsten a free safety. Decent hands probably, but that was a well-executed kick by Stallman.
Yes, it was, and if Skyview scores here, it'll be interesting to see if they go for another one.
Fake the handoff, and Barnum is flushed out. He's going to have to run and steps out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. Make it the 45.
Only 5 yards there, not how Skyview wants to be moving the ball. They have only used 15 seconds so far on this drive, but they've only gone 5 yards.
I was going to say, make note of the fact that he went out of bounds with 2:16, so still in decent shape, sitting at 3rd and 6 with 2:16 and down 10.
Tom, this has definitely been the game that we expected, or at least it has lived up to expectations. It's been a great game by both teams. O'Day just proving to be superior so far.
And the handoff goes to Frober, and he turns and has room to run for just a second and looks to have a first down to about the 37-yard line. And they will blow it dead right there while they mark the ball and move the chains.
Frober nearly with a touchdown there if he could have bounced it back outside. He bounced it back up the middle, and then he had another cut back lane to take it to the near side of the field over here by the Boggs Field logo.
So Skyview mixing it up on offense here, and again the faked handoff, and Barnum is going to be flushed out of the pocket, pulls it down and runs and gets out inside, I should say, the 35-yard line.
Well, he does get inside the 35. The clock is now inside 2 minutes, and it is moving.
A sense of urgency here for Skyview, who did a pretty good job of running the hurry-up on that last drive.
They need a score on this or next play.
Barnum with trips right. He is flushed, and he is sacked. Brought down in the backfield.
Skyview's going to burn a timeout. They're going to have to.
That is big number 68. Tony Fiore, who we've seen a couple of times in this game, make an impact in that defensive backfield.
Yes, we have. The entire O'Day defensive line deserves major credit. Tony Fiore, Doug Russell, Davion Dixon, they've all been getting in there, causing a ton of pressure on Barnum. They haven't been as effective at stopping the run, but they haven't really needed to because their pass rush has been incredible.
Yeah, Dixon got the big sack earlier as they have gotten to Barnum several times and hurried him several more. And as we have noted, certainly have had an impact on his effectiveness as far as how accurate he has been or has not been at times.
Yeah, he's definitely been scared of the pressure on a couple balls, wanting to release them a little bit earlier or trying to just throw them farther because he can't really see where he's throwing the ball. It's caused a couple miscommunications and a couple missed passes. I can think of the one in the end zone with Pinky and Martin, as well as another one on a rollout here down to Pinky.
Speaking of Pinckney, he is slot right as Barnum fakes the handoff and now is going to throw back across. That is a ill-advised throw, nearly intercepted as he was throwing off his back foot trying to reach Frober, and that ball had zero chance of being completed.
We have a roughing the passer, however. Barnum was hit after the throw, and that'll be a first down, automatic first down.
He was being pursued heavily as he tried to get rid of that ball, and certainly a tough break for O'Day there as they had the rush on.
Yeah, they definitely did. Barnum finished the play fake. And number 57, Roberto Perano. No, not Roberto Perano. Micah Davis, number 58, was in the backfield. Just incredible pursuit there.
But a tremendous break for Skyview as that gives them now a first down, stops the clock, and puts them at about the 24-yard line with a minute 24 to go. And let's see what happens now. Let's see what Barnum can do from here. As Pinckney is to the right, Barnum drops back and is going to look for Pinckney on a corner, and that ball is overthrown.
And once again, Barnum hit on the release. He's taking a lot of shots here. And I don't know how offensive line coach Scott Rice is thinking about his line play so far tonight. They've looked atrocious.
Certainly have had their problems up front. Barnum has been able to do some things because he is athletically gifted for sure. That time under pressure again, overthrew Pinckney. And again, going for Pinckney on the near side. Pinckney makes the catch and is out of bounds right about the 16-yard line. So with 1:14 to go, the Skyview Storm inch ever closer to that end zone.
And good awareness there by Pinckney to get out of bounds. And we talked so much about Brody Barnum being such a mobile quarterback. But also forget, he's a two-sport athlete. Where he plays baseball as well. Actually has a couple of offers to play baseball somewhere in college.
Barnum takes the snap and hands it off to Frober, who is caught and brought down. Do they mark him out of bounds? They sure do. So that stops the clock with 1:10 to go, but makes it 3rd and 1 as he did not get the first down.
There's the replay, stiff arm, but great tackling there by number 21, Shea Karstens, able to pull Frober down when he had a lot of forward momentum.
So now they do say it's a first down, so it is 1st and 10 at about the 18-yard line. 12-yard line, make that. And the handoff to Frober, far side, turns the corner, nearly breaks the tackle, and is down inside the 10 at about the 8.
Not sure if that's the best play call there, however, as the clock is going to keep running.
And they are going to go ahead and run with it right here, as Barnum now takes the snap and dumps it over the middle and in for the touchdown.
Skylar Martin there on the
5-yard touchdown by Skylar Martin with 44 seconds remaining.
Like we talked about earlier, Skylar Martin, so valuable out of that tight end position. Great run blocking, but also can slip out. They don't expect him to that much. He doesn't do it so often. But we're going to get a replay here. Watch Skylar Martin right there lined up on the end. Fakes the block. Everyone expecting him to run block. No, turns around, catches the quick pass, and takes it in for the touchdown. And the Storm have turned this game around as the extra point is on the way here.
The kick is up, and it is good. Looked close. Make it 35-32.
We are.
O'Day clinging now to that 3-point lead with 44 seconds left, Leonard.
We are a field goal away from this game being tied, and 10 minutes ago, I never would have thought that. So that shows you how fast things can change at Skyview, or in high school football. But Skyview has definitely turned their fortunes around, and if they recover another onside kick here, they could very well be back in business. However, only one timeout.
So despite their problems in this football game, the fourth quarter has belonged to the Skyview offense as Brody Barnum, with the 2-yard touchdown keeper run and 2-point conversion, cut that 18-point lead down to a 10-point lead at 35-25. And then the Barnum 5-yarder to Skylar Martin to make it 35-32, now with 44 seconds left, and at least sending us home with some drama.
Yeah, this has definitely been a great game, and it's so nice when it comes down to stuff under the final minute rather than just watching a bunch of kneel downs to end the game. And we'll see what the onside strategy here is again, because last time it worked to perfection, and O'Day's still coming out with the same, only putting 4 people on the side that Skyview's lining up to onside kick it to.
And again, Gregor there, the man that he hit last time, is in the same exact spot as he was before. And Stallman lining it up again. We'll see what they do. And again, it's a hard bouncer that goes all the way through and goes out of bounds. And so for all intents and purposes, that may just do it.
Maybe should have tried to. There's so few people over there on that side for O'Day. Maybe you think about trying to pop it up off the ground, but didn't really work out. And with only one timeout, that looks like it's going to spell the end for the Storm comeback run. But an impressive one it was.
Absolutely. Valiant comeback attempt with a 2-point conversion and big plays to make first downs and get touchdowns to bring this game to a 3-point margin. But they are going to fall just short tonight.
Absolutely. Barring a fumble here, they will have to run at least one play.
So Warren King takes that and kneels down with 41 seconds to go.
Skyview going to use the timeout.
And as of yet, no timeout taken. So this one will go in the books at 35-32 as the O'Day Fighting Irish will move to 3-0 and the Skyview Storm will drop to 1-2.
And for Skyview, the end of this game was very promising for them. They proved that they could move the ball in the clutch and that Barnum was capable of moving them down the field. However, that weak second quarter is going to cost them.
Really a span of about 4 minutes that is going to end up costing them this football game, as this final score, 35-32, the Fighting Irish of O'Day come down from Seattle and get a win here at Kiggins Bowl in a game that had all kinds of twists and turns following a scoreless first quarter. We had a 5-yard touchdown run by Angelo Sarchi to make it 7-0 Skyview. Then O'Day answered with a 32-yard TD run by Hunter Franco to make it 7-7. And then Hayden Frober answered in the second with a 14-yard touchdown run to put Skyview up 14-7. As we take a look at some of the highlights of this, Mark Tafia added a 20-yard touchdown for O'Day. That was in the second quarter to tie it at 14. And then Jamin Patu with a 12-yard touchdown to make it 21-14. Skyview. We see the closing moments here as the pass down to the
Carter Hill
on the goal line.
All the way. And there's the touchdown from Barnum right there.
Yep.
But it was too little, too late for the Skyview Storm. As Barnum throws another touchdown to Skylar Martin.
Going back to the summary here, after the interception by Dominic Gates, then Connor Gregor scored on a 10-yard touchdown run to make it 28-14. The Storm did answer with a field goal just before the half by Wyatt Stallman, a 22-yarder, to go into the halftime locker room down 11 at 28-17. The Irish, though, open up the scoring with a Jamin Patu 5-yard TD in the third to make it 35-17. And then the last two scores of the game by Skyview that we saw right there to wrap up the scoring. Well, that will do it from Kiggins Bowl and Boggs Field. The final score, O'Day 35 and Skyview 32. For my partner, Leonard Berry, I am Tom Ward. Thank you for watching, and good night.
All right, thanks, Tom. Thanks, Leonard. Welcome back to the VPS TV studio. I am Nick Vole. Game one of our doubleheader is over, but we still have a lot more ahead for you. Of course, in around a half hour, Hudson's Bay and Evergreen kick off in a crosstown matchup. But until then, here's what we have cooked up for you. In just a couple of minutes, right after I'm done talking, we're scheduled to have a chat with KATU Sports Director Craig Bernbach to talk high school football. We also have an extra special edition of Inside Vancouver Public Schools, the district's official news show. See what's new this year. And we have a cool story about the first day of school and what was extra special about it for a pair of teachers. And did you know that the Vancouver School Board is considering a bond measure for voters in February? We're going to learn more about it and how it'll work. All that and more coming up. But first, as I said, Craig Bernbach. Every Friday night, teams across our area suit up for battle on the gridiron. And every Friday night, Craig Bernbach, our next guest, is out there covering the games. He's the sports director at KATU. He's a friend of mine. He's joining us now live via Google Hangouts. Craig, thank you for being here.
Oh, anytime you call, Nick, it's kind of mandatory. I have to answer the phone. We're too good of friends.
This is the first time we've ever done like a live shot together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping my head doesn't look so huge it's scaring away your viewers.
Well, in real life, it's not that big, so we're in good shape there. How many years have you been covering high school football now, Craig?
In Portland, this is year 9, but altogether, I'm getting old. We're talking about 20 years now.
Wow. What do you love about doing it? Because you wouldn't keep coming back if you didn't like doing it.
What I love about high school football is that the excitement, of the kids. For so many of us, you and I included, our glory athletically was in high school, and that passion and the fun and just the joy it brings, and also the community of high school sports. The fact that towns get together, the rivalries, and for one night, it's a party with a football game, and I enjoy being part of that and trying to just really have a good time doing the show, covering something that I think is that the kids really enjoy, and hopefully some parents too.
So I know that you worked for a number of years in the South. Football there is different than here. What are the differences between how families and kids are there versus here?
I would say it's healthier here. I think that's one thing, and this isn't a shot at the area. It's just the way that things work. This is a big city. You've got the Trailblazers, you got the Timbers. In the South, football's king, and the king is college football, but not far below it is high school. And, I covered a lot of games with 15, 20,000 fans, and covered a lot of high schools where we tried to, go do interviews during the week, and the coaches are like, nope, I want their heads in the game, or can't talk to them after Tuesday. And here I think it's a really big deal on Friday night. But then, come Saturday and come Monday, the intensity lowers. So I think it's perfect that here game night is a big deal, but it doesn't get overly crazy with some of the stuff that goes down in the South, and what you hear in the stands is a little scarier. But it's just because it's passion there. But I think there's plenty of passion here. I enjoy covering, high school football here. There are a lot of great rivalries, both here in Oregon and across the bridge where you are.
So let's talk about your show then. High School Blitz, you guys do it right. Friday nights, you guys go all out. Tell us about the show.
Yeah, we're lucky. We get a half hour. And our other good friend, Orion Ludlow, O-Dog, if you watch the show, is our producer. And between the two of us, we get a little crazy. We just try to have some fun. We get our big-time anchors like Steve Dunn and Deb Knapp doing some crazy stuff to kick off the show. And then, bam, we just hammer out 12 games, and we get wherever we can, as much as we can. This week we're over at Southwest Washington. We finally got to Hawkinson, which I'm very excited about. The game with Woodland looks like an upset right now so far, but we just try to get as many places and show as many highlights and have as much fun as possible.
And of course, you guys are sort of famous for your crazy opens. You guys plan those out in advance. They're like little mini 1-minute movies, right? Who writes those? Is that you or O-Dog?
Well, I got to tell you, it was me in the beginning, but now there's so many people that have really enjoyed them, and we get tons of ideas. One of our shooters here, Tim Hurd, I got to mention him. He owns those. He shoots them and edits them, and he comes up with a lot of the ideas. And sometimes he'll just take my stupid ideas and make them funnier. So we've tried to include everybody from like I said, our main anchors to we've had my dog on. So we stretch it, and sometimes people get emails and parents and older people will say, it's a little sophomoric. I'm like, yep, that's what we're going for. Sophomores and juniors and some seniors. It's for the kids, and so far they've enjoyed it, and they know it's corny, but it's fun, and we'll get some good feedback from them. But we just try to have fun with those, and just to kick off the show right, let everyone know where we're at with this show, that it's about fun.
And of course, you guys are based in Portland down there on Sandy Boulevard. You do a lot of Oregon games, but that doesn't mean you lose track of Southwest Washington, right? You're watching what these kids are doing up here.
Yeah, we try to, get there as much as possible to own Southwest Washington as far as not ignoring it. You're going to help us today. We're going to, we have a nice agreement, so we're going to take your evergreen, Hudson's Bay highlights today and throw them in the show. Give you credit, of course. And like I said, we're getting 2 other games. We went over to Battleground and got that early game, so that'll be on. And like I said, we finally got to Hawkinson. I've been trying to get there for a while. As you well know, that's kind of out there, but we took the trip, so we'll have the Hawkinson Woodland game. And we get a ton of Camas. Camas makes you cover them. When you're the best team in the area, we can't ignore them.
Yeah, and of course, that brings me to my next question. What are you guys keeping your eyes on this year in the Greater St. Helens League?
Well, when group
Joel,
looking at across the bridge, and really,
sound?
every year Camas, it's just amazing what they're
sounds
able
fine.
to do. They just whooped up on 2 of Oregon's teams.
I can
They're
hear you,
6-0 against the Southwest Washington teams in the last, a few years. But we are keeping our, Hawkinson came in ranked 6th in their division, so in the poll. So we went over there.
Okay.
We might be looking at an upset tonight, so that'd be exciting for the show.
All right, well, hey, Craig, I don't want to take too much more of your time. I know you've got a big show coming up tonight. Thanks for joining us. I know you got other stuff to do, and we really appreciate seeing you.
Okay, Joel. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Nick. You guys do a great job. And once again, thanks for the highlights, man.
All right, cool. Well, if you want to see Craig and his team in action on K2. You can watch the K2 Blitz after the late local news on Channel 2. Sometimes you'll see highlights, as he mentioned, that the VPS Game Time students produce. Remember, when you're seeing these highlights, these are kids. These are our students out there on the field, running the cameras, running the replays, running the graphics, directing, pretty much everything but what you see in front of the camera, and even sometimes we'll have kids behind the microphones too. So make sure you thank your local video production students for providing this, and High School Blitz is on at 11:35 after your late local news, hosted by Craig Burnback. Vancouver Public Schools is developing a national reputation when it comes to leading the way in education and technology, and one of the guys behind that joins us now. His name is Mark Ray. Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Nick. Thanks for having me.
What's your official title these days, Mark?
Well, I'm the Chief Digital Officer for Vancouver Public Schools, but I'm also now a future ready librarians lead with the Alliance for Excellent Education in Washington.